back to my student days, which is almost half, almost half a decade, I would say now. The world has changed so much, and the change these days, is so fast. It's very difficult to imagine. When I joined this company in 2002, between 2002 and 2016 itself, I feel that every 5 years, the change has happened so fast, and especially with the advent of the mobile phone, smartphone, it's a completely different world. I'm not even comparing it with when I was a student or when I was holding a job in traditional R&D prior to 2002. Today it is completely different, and it's not enough if we hold the most recent fancy gadget in our hand. Even our mindset, our approach to technology, basically you are all on the technology side, so your approach to technology should completely change. Otherwise, India will never progress. We will still be fighting the same battle in the international forum. So with this introduction, I'll take you back to how we did R&D. Maybe, I quit ACC in 2002. I joined sometime, I think, in 1975. So 26 years I was there in R&D. So I'll tell you how we did R&D those days, and then I'll tell you how I learned how Americans, Europeans, Japanese do it after I moved to this company. And I'm also seeing how it is being done now, particularly in private companies, more so in pharma companies. They are all very, very patent savvy, and even in CSIR, which is the government arm of R&D. Because today I know students have that dream of taking up government jobs. If they want to go on the technology side also, they want to get into government labs, do R&D, and so on and so forth. So those days, when I joined the company in R&D, I joined straight away in R&D, and I was in catalysis, which was a very high-tech area even those days. But that was an era of import substitution. Okay, it was very difficult to import things into India. So the government mandate was those days to replicate whatever technology we were importing. We were losing our own dollars, so the government encouraged everybody to actually copy. What you said, copy. It's exactly what we did. So let's say that we wanted to reproduce one material, so we would first import it, analyze it in the lab, so we would know exactly the physical, the chemical characterization results would be there with us. Then we would go back to the bench. We would read literature, not patents. Those days internet was not there at all. So there was no question of actually even getting to know, from sources like you have today. We didn't even know, and nobody even thought about patents because India was not at all there under the patent regime. All this, as I told you, has happened very, very quickly. I think in 1995, when we signed the TRIPS agreement internationally, that was when India was given 10 years time. So WIPO, which was established that time, the World Intellectual Property Organization, gave India 10 years time, and they said by 2005, you also have to be tuned to this regime, and the basic rule was that you will stop copying and you will start respecting others' intellectual property. So now if you try to define intellectual property is nothing but creativity of the mind. You create property which is intangible. You cannot really measure it, but that is with your own mental faculty, not just copy. And if you look at actually so today, we are in what is called as sure you all read newspapers. complete out of knowledge and education is what we have created with. So, but in earlier, let's say this is I took it from 1978 data. See, tangible assets, building, and all the physical assets that a company has. The evaluation used to be made based on only those tangible assets, and 80% of that evaluation was from tangible assets. Only 20% was from the intellectual property, okay, which is again intangible. And 10 years later, okay, I use this.
Next slide.
Yeah. So 10 years later, that is in 1988, you can see that whatever was 80%, by then in 10 years, almost 50% of the company evaluation was based on intangible assets. Let's move another 10 years. 70%, 1997, 70% of evaluation was through intangible assets, which is like intellectual property. I will define intellectual property again. Only 20%. You know which kind of companies actually fall in this bracket? These are companies with which you are very, very familiar. Amazon. Click of a button. They were the trendsetters. Today, most of us, including me, I would consider still myself as an old school, but still most of the even grocery shopping, even Amazon is even offering groceries now. Most of the grocery shopping happens only with click of a button. That's all. One click, put everything in the cart and order everything. It's a complete, change, right? Indians always enjoy going to the shop, go to 4 shops, 6 shops, see where the quality is good and where it is cheap, and then carry, and then, traditionally that is how we have been doing things. But today, even elderly people have completely changed their mindset. Anything you want, just go to the net, and day after day after day, the first page is screaming with advertisements from these online shopping only, Flipkart. If Flipkart advertises, next day it is Amazon. Third is TV channels, you were saying the same advertisement. So even if you are not familiar, you will also start thinking that. And all this is happening, only because of technology. What else? It is technology. The way, you don't have to do anything. I don't think you even need any capital. You only should know how to source material, you should know how to deliver it safely, timely delivery, and there you have a big business empire. And all these apps that you have today, whether you want a taxi or whatever, how is it all happening? It's all technology. And how is that technology actually, how is that technology being owned? See, everybody is actually doing it in a different way. Everybody is doing it in a different way. It's not as if the way Amazon is doing and Flipkart is doing. There are some minor changes, so it's not the same. So that is where intellectual property is. So if you see, Amazon has patents on how to do online business. All you have to do is go to a website called uspto.gov. It is even much easier than Google, because at least Google will give family patents. It still doesn't reduce it. I'll talk about what are family patents. USPTO will give you only US patents, and most of these companies which are leaders in technology, they will definitely have those patents are easily available. So go there, you can do some very simple searches. Are you going to demonstrate searches? Maybe if they are interested, we can have another session on searching. So Procter & Gamble, the company which sells all the personal care products, lovely shampoos, and L'Oreal and P&G, you keep seeing those advertisements. The way they conduct research, the way they actually develop technologies is really, really amazing. So we have a lot of inventions around this. But innovation is slightly different. Innovation is where you can actually convert that into a tangible application and it is taken to the market. Suppose you have some development. It should be something that cannot be scaled up, because if you really have to commercialize it, if you have to take it to the market. scaled up. So the technology that we develop should also be in such a way that it can be scaled up, number one. And then it can also be applied